Welcome, everyone, to the Taking Back Sunday draft, aka the Where You Want to Be episode. Basically, the first four albums of their career are in play pre-2011 because arbitrarily the show only goes up to year 2010. And frankly, I know neither of us have really listened beyond 2011 anyways. Huge mistake. They have some really great late album bangers, but we're going to be talking about their first four records.
Well, let's just No, okay, that's fine.
Okay.
I had a pick that I thought pushed it. Sorry. No, you're right. Keep on going, brother.
Just stupid kids who don't know how to stick with music they love. Anyways, the Taking Back Sunday draft. What is going on, everybody? I'm Tom.
And I'm Pat.
We're best friends, and you're listening to the Reminiscent Podcast.
Well, the reason what I was going to say was for the band drafts, should we just open that shit right up?
See, this is the problem.
Let's do it.
Here's the kind of
this would be a gray area that would be if it hurts the show, we shouldn't.
Well, no,
it's not like we're going to be really living in the 2010s Taking Back Sunday world too much on this episode, considering the content of the show. But if you got to pick it. I'd say we did Blink-182. All the small things for your birthday. So the rules are being bent when the gray area is appropriate. And I think this counts.
All right, Pat, between you and me, I don't want the listeners to hear. I like the rule because it keeps people from being like, hey, there's so many great late career songs that you didn't pick, and we can claim ignorance on it. Or no, not even ignorance. We can claim, oh no, we know, but we're playing into the rules of the show. Because even if we are doing full album career, I'm only picking songs from Where You Want to Be.
Right. You express concern with every band fans or I have ever pitched to you. They're like, hey, people seem to like these band drafts. And it kind of lets us talk about episodes we haven't gotten to yet. Because there's a certain amount of lifting emotionally and time-wise that has to go into prepping for an album episode. So we're like, hey, we can kind of cover some ground and keep people happy and this and that. But Fall Out Boy, Paramore, et cetera, you're like, oh, I'm only going to be picking songs from these albums. I'm like, oh, okay, what about Taking Back Sunday? You're like, sure. And then 10 minutes before recording, you're like, oh man, I'm really going to be picking songs from that one album. I'm like, oh! So either this is bad today or we're greenlighting all future band draft episodes. And it's one or the other.
I mean, it's not even that again, my music listening preferences. If I find something I love, I am going to listen to it on repeat until the day I die. It's not that I don't even love some of, for example, Fall Out Boy. Well, I don't love a lot of Fall Out Boy's later stuff. Let's say for the Blink-182 draft, I think we opened it up to absolutely everything. But I love Enema so much in Take Off Your Pants and Jacket that I love their later albums.
Did we do a Blink draft?
I think we did. Or am I making that up? I remember talking about California.
No, it feels like we did.
Whoa. I don't know. We've done a lot of episodes at this point. But anyway,
this is true.
There's an album that's for any band that I'm just, and especially because I listen to bands in their albums starting at track one and I listen all the way through. I don't do playlists. I don't do Apple Music curated stuff.
Says the former LimeWire boy. You weren't always an album person.
Well, okay. Then I was.
You were a singles person primarily for
and I just listened to those 3 singles on repeat for 7 years.
Right. Did that happen with Taking Back Sunday, by the way? What was your introduction to them? Let's get fully reminiscent into this whole mindset. I had to take myself back a little bit. Great Romances, etc., all that stuff. I'm like, these are headspaces I have not really lived in. We talked about it on the Motion City draft a little bit. I haven't needed this medicine in a while. And I was listening to Where You Want to Be, which is an album I can't just willy-nilly just turn the fuck on. Man. It's going to alter the trajectory emotionally of my week if I'm being honest. So it was interesting to kind of revisit some of those. I'm like, mentally you're taken to certain places, this and that. But yeah, dare I ask when the first time you heard Taking Back Sunday was?
I think Adam, the guitarist of our old band, introduced me to Taking Back Sunday and Brand New on the same day. And that just f***ed up my entire world.
It's so silly to hear that. I mean, I know this factoid. I'm aware of it. But even every time you say it, I'm like, how? Oh, my God. like from Adam's perspective, who rules, by the way, such a good friend. Just like, hey, have you ever taken Back Sunday? No. Oh, dude. What about Brand New? No. Oh, dude. Just like, you need to get on it. Stat, my boy. And then it defined, I'll let you kind of maybe monologue on this. I think you had mentioned you wanted to touch on it, but I'll try to set you up. It immediately took over your life for like 12 years.
Yeah.
Or at least 4.
It's still taking over my life.
Right. But I'm not sure we listened to much else as a friend group for the next 2.5 at least.
No, absolutely true. So like, I remember when I was in 8th grade, some of the cooler 9th graders at Iroquois played You're So Last Summer for me. And it was because of the joke of Flava Flav in the music video. I think it might've been Jay Scott who, lots of good stuff came from him and his friends. But so I heard it before because I remember some of those days where I'll bleep the last name, but I was like spending the nights at Steve house after band competitions because my mom would just like text me and say like, I'm not going to be home, so find somewhere to stay like in 20 minutes. He showed me that he learned how to play You're So Last Summer on guitar. So like in 8th grade, I was aware of the music. But in 9th grade, we all had gym class, the one where we techno dance party. It was me, you, Seth, and Adam, I remember, in that class.
Cameron probably too.
Yeah, I think Cameron might have been in there.
I think, and that might be my brain pushing memories together, which it's wont to do. But I'm pretty sure we're all this close or we were that close or whatever, time goes on, marches on, etc. And you texted Cameron the other day, I think you mentioned, which is awesome because he's just the best. And I mean, I would imagine we were as close as we were because we had so many classes together. From the jump, right? Because none of us, we all came from different schools, more or less. You came from the district, but you were only at Iroquois for a bit, so I was still kind of getting to know you.
Yeah.
And I think Adam and Cameron went to St. Luke's, and Seth, I forget where he went, but it was kind of a melting pot of sorts. And gym class, if nothing else, kind of solidified at least the lunch table we would sit at for the next 4 years, more or less.
Not only that, I think we asked Adam to be in our band because one day he wore a Kelly Green Kiss Me I'm Punk t-shirt, and it was like a Green Day t-shirt, and we loved Green Day. Like American Idiot had just come out the year before, so we were like, hey, you play guitar, you like Green Day, do you want to be in our band? And that...
Right, and if you're just joining the show and you're a little older, American Idiot was the Green Day album that happened to come out when we were becoming teens, so relax.
Yeah.
These are not hot takes. This is just timeline wise, just for the sake of sequence of events, that's where we were. So
Dookie is obviously the better album. Okay. I know every lyric on Warning.
But also I'm not here to shit on American Idiot anyway.
It's so good.
It is so good. What's Her Name is the best Green Day song. That's my hottest take.
Blazing.
I know. Buckle up.
So anyway, Adam introduced me to Take Him Back Sunday and Brand New and a lot of other stuff because he had a really cool older sister who was scene adjacent, I think. And some of these songs transcended the scene itself. So just by nature of being older, I think some of her cool friends, it trickled down.
Yeah, it's kind of we all had older sisters who were just kind of existed outside of our world, which our world was just the three of us in gym class jumping around. But we all had older sisters who knew more shit than we did, and they were elsewhere in the world. And so I can't speak to her. Maybe she would. Maybe she had to go to shows. I honestly couldn't tell you. But I do remember the three of us just having oh yeah, this and that, and these CDs I got from my older sister, who were just these beings that kind of were there that impacted and influenced what was happening in ours, but we didn't really pay much mind to it, I feel like.
Right. But I mean, as soon as... So it wasn't until 2005 that I was really religiously listening to Taking Back Sunday. And I remember being really excited when I think it was, they had maybe just announced that they were working on a new album. So I was introduced to them with one of my maybe top 5 albums of all time, Where You Want to Be. They obviously had one before that, so there was so much stuff to take in, but then we also got the immediate anticipation of Louder Now coming out. And I very specifically remember one night at your house, God, it might have, again, the brain pushing all the memories together. It might have been the night we stayed up until 5 a.m. trying to beat Toy Story 2 on PlayStation 1 or whatever it was.
Okay. If you were going to say it was the birthday party where we played pants versus no pants football at the park, I was now you're really pushing shit together. That's a 7-year span.
No,
But yeah, the Toy Story one, they might have been that one. Why not?
Or no, was it Lion King?
It wouldn't have been Lion King. If there was ever a functioning PlayStation 1 at my house, it would have been my friend Joe from down the street just giving me it. And he's like, it's collecting dust and you deserve to play a video game, man.
PS2 had been out for like 5 years at this point.
Yeah, right, exactly. My family was not Amish, but microwaves and cable TV and video game systems just were not around, were not an option. My mom was like, why don't kids ever want to hang out at our house? I'm like, didn't have the heart to tell her. It's like, what are they going to fucking do, man? What are they going to do if they are here? And trust me, I've seen the houses where they gather, and it's a shit show. It's chaos, and it tears the families apart. So enjoy the quiet. I know you think you want this, but you do not.
I'm assuming you would have been introduced to them the same day as me, right? Like we were together for this.
It was one of the binder ones for me. I knew about Tell All Your Friends, but I don't think I ever pitched it to you formally. Like, I don't know if we were even really talking about music like that until we got to high school. Like, until we were in, like, I know we talked, well, we were loosely doing band stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think we fell in. So, like, the trajectory of the show is like us starting a band and then ending up in high school together. And then for the next 3 years, our iPod libraries were literally identical. And then we went to college, and that's, I think if you listen to the show, you know that we veered off in various directions. But before Adam kind of came in and kind of, we were all on the same page, very much on the same page. I think there's a chance I was aware of where Tell All Your Friends from that binder my sister got me for Christmas with all the burn CDs, and just didn't think to pitch it, I guess.
Gotcha.
I don't know. James was just inviting us over to, places to jump around to techno and stuff. I felt like we were too young to be like having opinions about pop culture. We were still like running around. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. There's like, we were 13 and then we were 16.
I know.
And then I really couldn't tell you what happened in those 3 years. But
I know.
Yeah, there's a chance I was aware of them, but we didn't like celebrate it as much as we did.
For sure.
In your mom's basement up on the west side.
Yeah. I mean, I listened to pretty much Where You Want to Be and Riot exclusively the last 2 years of high school. That's like all I did. So this is also in terms of shaping the sound and the style of our high school band, 4 Under Par, best name in the world. It was like hugely influential. We made so many decisions. Again, like our band was just like, what did Blink do? What did Cartel do? What did Take 'Em Back Sunday do? Let's blend it all together and do it 80% worse than they would have. And that was like the band, but I specifically...
80s generous.
I know. You know what? No.
I think we wish we had the guts to do more Taking Back Sunday stuff. I think we were a little more capital P pop punk.
Well, and we didn't have 2 singers, which we always wanted, but I quite wasn't ready for that yet. But I do remember we wrote a song... I think it might have been Alicia's song where we were like, how do we end this? And I think Zach might have been like, what would Take It Back Sunday do? And then you started singing something and that made the end of the song happen, which had the 2 singers. You did the second singing part. And it was just like, what would Fred Mascherino do? Let's do that.
Yeah, which I kind of want to get into the picks because I want to talk about him.
Okay.
On one of the songs.
Yeah, let's do it.
We should get into it because then we'll like navigate the anecdotes. I don't want to go too long and not have picked the first round.
Okay.
Too late. But like, yeah. But also, while you're finding your lovely laser cut dice, I will say there's how we viewed ourselves. And then there's like the objective fact that we started as a Blink knockoff and finished as a Cartel knockoff. And somewhere in the middle, Zach wrote a bunch of stuff that was influenced heavily by Jesse Lacey. And we like thought we were taking, but I don't think we were as edgy or cool as, like, for example, the way Taking Back Sunday looks in the Great Romances video is how we felt, but we did not look like that or sound like that. Like in our hearts and our souls, that's what we wanted and needed, but it wasn't close, I don't think.
I'll tell you what though, man, I was listening to You Only Live Once probably 2 hours ago. Zach wrote some very killer post-breakup songs that were way too good for a 15-year-old to be writing. We were really good,
that's
man.
True.
I take it back. We were awesome.
There was there was like a late back third where Zach had like 3 or 4 that he ripped off after one particular breakup that, to quote Roswell Kid, he was on a lightning bolt of cosmic self-expression. it kind of came out of nowhere and I was like, oh, our band's different now. Great. But it's for the better. These songs are amazing.
Yeah, we were good. And for anyone at this point that doesn't know, the theme music for the show is one of those songs that you wrote it. Who wrote it? We Were 16.
Zach wrote it allegedly about a life experience of mine. But I think it's like any songwriter, it's just kind of, it's like a dream, right? It's a collection of subconscious, whatever. But I think it was a few of our stories melded into one.
Gotcha. But yeah, that's our band that we recorded later in 2012, and I remixed it for the podcast. And
yeah, you should drop one of the ones Zach re-recorded in DC in the post show this week or something.
Oh, they sound so bad. I didn't know what I was doing, but yeah, maybe
that's all right. Do 30 seconds of it or something, just to show how angsty it got. It wasn't super pop. Anyway, Let's pick.
Okay,
Taking Back Sunday.
Let's do it.
We Love You, John Nolan. Subtle as a Brick, the John Nolan story is the only screenplay I will ever write. If you can fund a movie, call me. Because it can happen that easily.
Okay.
Subtle as a Brick, the John Nolan story. It's not a comedy. It's just a movie about John Nolan. If you want a comedy, talk to us about our other screenplay for The Emo Show, where we take on Dr. Google. No, Dr. Hot Topic.
We'll take him all on. Jeff Bezos will cut his head off.
Jeffrey Bezos!
You did it!
Congratulations!
Okay.
Jeffrey Bezos.
All right. Evens or odds?
Odds.
Okay.
Congratulations.
I got a 6 and a 4. So.
Tartar sauce.
You're so trusting in me. I could be lying every week, and I don't.
What's interesting is that I don't really, based on band to band and draft to draft, having the first or second and third pick varies in value. So
right.
This is the ultimate leveler, I think. So this week, I think there's value in the second and third, but like for the drum draft, taking First Date, Feeling This was like, we both wanted that one.
Yeah.
Like, so the number one pick that week was big. This one, there's a lot that we got to get to, so 2 and 3 might be the way to go. But I don't want to influence you one way or another.
I feel like I know what your number one would be.
Interesting. I'd love to know what you think it is.
I'm not going to say anything because if you don't take it for 2 and 3, or if you don't take it for your 1 and 2, I'm going to take it for my number 2. So let me start.
That's the gamble of choosing to go second and third.
I know. So let me start with my number 1.
Oh, you're going first?
Yes.
Wow.
Because
Tom.
I really want Little Devotional so badly.
Okay. Yes. Let's get into it. Tell me why. Where You Want to Be is actually, we haven't done this yet. The whole show's like joke debate is whether or not Louder Now or Tell All Your Friends is the second best Taking Back Sunday album. What we don't talk about a lot is really the point of that kind of joking, engagement we've had with each other over the past 5 years or whatever, or our whole lives really, is that we both fucking love Where You Want to Be. So I am very excited for you to just like gush basically this whole episode.
So the thing that I go to Taking Back Sunday for is like very medium tempo driving beat songs. And they have the slow build and they make you wait a little bit for the payoff. Like the thing that I really love about late album Where You Want to Be is 4 of the best songs ever written happen like in a row, but you don't know that it's one of the greatest songs ever written until like the second half of the song. However, Little Devotional doesn't make you wait so long. I mean, it starts off with the killer drum beat and just like that relentless bass line. And it's just like, oh, like I got chills a second in. Oh my God. Like,
yeah.
I really do think that this easily could have and probably should have been the album opener. Set Phasers to Stun is obviously very good, but there's like an element of like whimsy.
There's something about the back half of the album, the way it is set, that just you shouldn't with.
Well,
man.
that's what that's the note that I made. It should have been the opening album, but also it fits into like the sneaky good back half of this album that you can't really touch it.
Oh, it's the most I've never seen anything like it in my own personal fandom where like truly front to backer, the most attention capturing shit is tracks like 6 through whatever or 5 through whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's a great record early, and then those last 5-6 songs are like, what? What? It finishes so outlandishly strong.
I know.
I haven't even really sat down to contemplate the weight of how fucking good it is in so long.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't mess with the order, but I agree that like before New American Classic, for example, it's just like a good, oh, Fred's here, things are different. But then after New American Classic, it's like, no. No, they didn't.
Yeah. And also like, I jokingly tweeted a while ago about like, should my mom come on the show? Because there's a joke about like, is this song about sex? Is this song about drugs? And I specifically remember her driving me to this guy's house to mow his lawn. And I was listening to this album in her car. And it said something about like, I'm going to have myself in shambles. You might have also heard me on the desert island say the wrong lyrics. Apparently he says, phone your folks. Wait. Oh shit, where'd it go now?
Genius lyrics.
I said I'm going to have myself in shambles. Phone your folks, they're up and looking for some answers. I thought it was like before your folks are up and looking for some answers. And my mom goes, is that sex? And like, honestly, I think for this song, yes. I think it is about sex. And let me read you the opening lyrics. And then I have to read you, it's long, but I swear to God, it's worth it. One of the craziest YouTube comments I've ever seen.
This is why we do this. I'm very here for this. If you're listening, that's great, but I am just having a nice evening chatting with my friend here. Please do that, Tom. I'm in no rush.
So the opening lyrics are, well, I'm blowing smoke out of your window and you're slipping back into your dress. And for some reason, when I try to visualize this, it's like anime, like Cowboy Bebop style. I don't know why, just like the slow smoke, the cool slick back hair. Anyways, let me read you this comment from user Sean420. And
sup, Sean?
I swear to God, this might be like a 5-minute thing. But he says, synopsis, a man and a woman have a short discussion after an affair. Lights fade up. The glow of the after sex was almost as good as the sex itself. He laid there in the bed, body sprawled out, a cigarette between his lips. He casually blew smoke out of the open window. His eyes watched as the gray cloud danced about, whipping back and forth before vanishing. As interesting as this little display was, it only kept his attention for so long. Eventually, he sat up and he looked at his partner. Oh my God, there's seriously so much. Should I keep going?
I thought they were in a car. But they're in a
interesting
bedroom.
No, my thought was like an upstairs bedroom of a row house.
I guess I'm just thinking of 2000s or just being a teen in that time period. My best guess, hearing it, and I haven't thought about it
Interesting.
Till now. How near, like, what? This isn't fucking Boogie Nights. Like, no one has an ashtray in their like high school room. You know what I mean? Like, hey, do you have a light? It's like, let me just, like, oh, I got ashes in my mustache. Like these kids are like in this song. They're young, right? So I assumed that they hooked up in a car somewhere in the city, which my favorite teen thing is like, let's go do the illegal thing or the nasty thing out in public somewhere that we think is safer away from our parents than it would have been just to like try to get away with it at home with our parents, asleep. Like, I can't tell you how many times, I'll just leave it at that, right? We've all probably been in that car where it's like, hey, where should we go to do this nefarious act? And it's like, probably away from the home where we're at now, where it's already pretty quiet and our parents are going to bed soon. It's like, cool, yeah, let's go to the abandoned Pepsi factory parking lot. And, it's like, no, man, you should stay the fuck at home. It's way safer. There's no cops there. And anyway, yeah, I thought they were in a car is where I'm going with this.
Interesting. I don't know, there is a line about move like a shadow up to your mattress. Anyways.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
I'm still hitting up that abandoned Pepsi lot, man. I don't know. Public stuff is fun. I don't know.
Yeah. If you're ever in Erie, you can just have a moment. after hours to yourself. And no one is fucking there, man.
Maybe I'll read the rest after the episode because it is long.
Yeah, save it for the post show. We'll talk about the sex in this song, apparently. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So anyway, yeah, my first pick, little devotional off of Where You Want to Be. And you get picks, you get the next two. Risky move, man.
Let's do 180 by Summer.
Damn it. That's the one I was saying I would take. I knew you were going to pick it first, man.
It's so good. It is so good. It's so good, right?
Yeah.
You said live up to your... So, like, we'll get to all the lines on Clever Napkins. We'll get to the grammar well rehearsed, all that stuff. The man, Adam can turn a phrase. I think we know this. Not always, but, you know, when he's at his best, it's really good. You said live up to your first impression, but my best side was your worst invention. Is like teen. It's like a hard drug, you know, for a teen. You're just like, that's the shit. That's the shit right there, man. And I would say it rivals famous last words in terms of like strong finishes from emo / alt pop punk songs of the decade. Like, in terms of payoffs, back thirds of songs or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
What more could you possibly want? It's a little, I wouldn't say it's as friendly on the ears for the first 2/3 as other songs that, you know, people might.
Yes.
And tweet at us if, well, what are your favorite strong finishes of the decade at _reminiscent FM on Twitter. But, you know, the payoff is so freaking gargantuan, man.
Yeah.
It's just an amazing turn of phrase. It rocks so hard. Yeah, like I said, like there was a kind of a ghastly, ghostly element of like senior year wandering around knowing something is coming to an end energy that came with us enjoying this album at this time.
Yeah.
And it being kind of our senior year of high school album. There was like a spiritual emptiness that came with all of these songs that hit so fucking hard. And this is one of the crazy emotional highs. You know, the album gets quiet as well, but it's one of those back half ones that isn't even necessarily the star of the show, but it's like one of those like, oh, and then this one, you know, like there are better songs on the back half, but I loved it so much because probably of the angst I was feeling at the time due to puberty and whatnot. But, you know, again, yeah, I'll just pick it and then I won't, you know, we'll keep going and keep it moving. I don't want to gum up the works too much here, but I did want to pick that because I don't know if it's my favorite, but it was a very important song to me, I guess, and remains to a certain degree. It's part of me, but man, what a tune. Any thoughts at all on 180 by Summer? Yeah. Sounds like you were almost going to pick it.
Yes. It would have been my second pick. What's interesting though is that like you said, every time I hit play, I'm like, wait, I know I love the song 180 by Summer, but the intro or like the beginning of the song, I don't super love it. So then I'm wondering like, is this a song that I think it is? And then at 1 minute and 47 seconds, it all kind of like fades away and like the guitar comes a little bit. And then it's like, oh, it's one of those slow burn songs. And like it ends with like, why can't you live without the attention? Why can't you live? Just like so high, defenseless, dependent. And it's just like, what? Like, and I think we might have talked about this. Every one of the last 5 songs in this album could have easily been an album opener or closer and would have it fit like absolutely perfectly. The song is just fucking bananas. It is so like quintessential Taking Back Sunday in every single way. Love it.
Yeah, I could have sworn he said, why can't you live without the intention? But yeah, I guess it's the attention. You're right. Interesting. I had been hearing it wrong all these years. Interesting. I don't know if I want to just play the game of the draft and take another Where You Want to Be song real quick, just to kind of like stunt your growth for the rest of the entire episode. Okay, let me just do this. And I'm sorry, but I'm not that sorry. But like, I'm a little sorry.
Give you Slow Dance on the Inside. I know.
No.
What? No, wait.
Well, there's a lot to go over. You get 2 right after this. This is like a race for all the Where You Want to Be stuff before we get to the other stuff. No, let me do this. Let's not get crazy. Give me Timberwolves at New Jersey off of Tell All Your Friends. And here's why. Here's the hot take.
I
Here's
got the
big
mic
reveal.
and you got the mosh pit, motherfucker.
Yes. I know it's probably cute without the E, but is this song the Taking Back Sunday song? We try to, boil the band down to a tune game. We play it for Bruce Springsteen, Born to Run, whatever. And you could argue it's not, but that's like the fun of the game, right? Like on the Motion City soundtrack thing, we tried to get down to like how important Everything Is All Right versus Future Freaks Me Out is. Like, can you boil a band down to a song? I know it's probably cute without the E with Taking Back Sunday, like if you really had to explain it to aliens quickly. But hear me out for Timberwolves at New Jersey. I feel like it's the thesis statement for the band in general. I got the mic and you got the mosh pit. They always had a very fervent following that they were very like friendly and grateful for. Those words at best were worse than teenage poetry. They brought that, well, I'll keep going. Literate and stylish, kissable and quiet. They had that theater kid lit class fucking lyrical thing that I think, I've said this on the show before, that All Time Low tried to do, but did it in a way more dramatic theater kid way that was at times like not great in my opinion.
Sure.
Like, but everyone was, they took it to this like, I don't know. It's kind of like, they're not the only genre or time period in music where someone has been like, hey, you're shittier on the mic than I am. Obviously, there's some early 90s rap shit that like did that in a way more like entertaining way and like meaningful way, to be honest.
It's not very good. Eminem is not very good. Do you remember that when, dude, every word in my brain is escaping me.
I was going to say, I have no idea what that is.
It was Flight of the Conchords did a diss track and they were afraid that like they were going to kill them.
Oh, gotcha.
So good.
But yeah, so they're bringing that energy to it a little bit. I don't know. There's something, it hints that there's something kind of low key fancy about 2000s emo. Like if 90s emo was like still a little hardcore, there's something like just inherently goth prom-y about the whole premise of what we talk about on the show from week in and week out. Literate and stylish, kissable and quiet. Those words at best were worse than teenage poetry. Like, what kind of shit talking is that really? But it was so tremendous to listen to all the time. I think Timberwolves at New Jersey, if it isn't the boil the band down to a song game winner, I'd say it's close. And it's, if at the very fucking least, a very underrated or slept on track in terms of how meaningful it was to their catalog at large. And I'm going to pick it second for all of those reasons. I think it serves well as just the fundamental thesis statement for the band. Kind of a give and take with the crowd. Here's what we like to sing about. Here's how we like to sing about it. And it's one thing to be emo, but we're going to be a little fancy as well. A little goth prom energy. And when we say goth prom on the show every week, in and out, this is part of what that, it's not just the weird ass Curse Occurs music video where you show up as a goth prom person to a regular prom and look out of place. There's like being emo, but like still, I don't know, having a caller involved at all, I guess. I don't know, kind of the fancy emo stuff is fascinating to me.
Yeah, I remember when we saw them with Angels and Airwaves in 2007, I think. And I remember there was, I like had fantasized about seeing Taking Back Sunday for like a long time. Adam's mom drove us to, was it Pittsburgh or Cleveland?
Cleveland.
Yeah, Cleveland. His sister
it was outdoor.
Yeah, his sister went with us. I mean, I remember thinking like, if they play Timberwolves at New Jersey, there's this thing I want to do with my arms at the time when he says, I got the mic and you got the mosh pit. And I remember being able to do it and just being like, oh, like, it was everything I hoped it would be. Yes.
Well, I'm glad it was. And it's often one of it's from one of the earlier records. It's so simple, when a band is just kind of defining who they are, it's so fun and new. It's like getting to know characters on a new show you're watching, and why we probably judge subsequent albums so harshly and everything like that. But it's just like, hey, I have the mic and you get the mosh pit. And that's kind of the relationship. And it's like, great, got it. I'm in forever. And it's just kind of like, I don't know. It's so simple, but so elegant. And anyway, that's my second pick. We're talking way too long. I think we were nervous to do the Where You Want to Be draft, but I think like we don't talk about Taking Back Sunday enough on the show probably. So it's all pouring out of us like a shitty diary entry. And I'm sorry, but yeah, back to you, Tom. Let's just keep it rolling. This might go 3 hours.
That's fine with me, man. Let's just stay with the back half of where you want to be theme.
Count them up. It's like Murderer's Row. It's like, what is it, the 27 Yankees or whatever? It's just like, hey, man, there are no wrong picks. So let's just do it. We've been meaning to talk about it.
Yeah.
Just get after it. I am Fred Astaire. What's your screen name? Pick it.
Well, I mean, I might go with Slow Dance on the Inside.
Yeah. Let's take it seriously. You're right. It's a good pick. And the floor is yours.
So it was our senior song, like unofficially. We had a senior video and there were 2 songs in it. I don't remember the first one, but the second one was Slow Dance on the Inside. And
it was the last one. It brought it home.
Yeah.
Going Away to College by Blink was on there. I put on Fantasy by Mariah Carey because I fucking think that song's amazing. And who doesn't, right? Might be the perfect pop song. Anyway, yeah, the fourth one was this. I'm sure a third of the people in that room were like, or maybe even 2/3 or 4/5 were like, fucking hell. But there was like, at least us, we were like, oh God, this is emotional.
Yeah, I honestly don't know how it even made it on there, but like this song held.
They let us make it.
That's right.
Sam Cray, one of our Sherpas, we were making it. And we were like, hey, what music should we use? And we're like, whatever the hell we want. And she's like, wait. He's like, no, we can't close it out with this. I'm like, we can and we should, my man. And 4 people enjoyed it. Me, him, and the 2 friends we were making it for. Everyone else at the senior banquet was probably like, we talk about this on the show, like, you know, am I the asshole? This was an instance where, yes, we hijacked an entire class worth's senior video and put songs that maybe some of them liked.
My memory, though, is that I was sitting at the table with Mike Murphy, who had like just started playing drums, and it kind of ruined the song because he was like air drumming it, like tapping it on the table with his fingers, but like kind of off and not the right beat the whole time.
Oh no. What's that like kind of like thing that people don't really say, but it's like, hey, who sings this? And they're like, Taking Back Sunday. It's like, why don't you let them? You know, like that lame TV show put down. But it's kind of like effective enough. It's like, hey, who's drums for them?
Mike something, right?
Why don't you let him, Mike? No.
I think the drummer's name was Mike too.
I'm not going to hate on him because he was one of the several people who in the room that was even paying attention at that point. They're like, Mariah Carey to Slow Dance on the Inside. Is this person schizophrenic? I'm not sure. Whoever made this soundtrack. Also, one of the songs, if you play the reminiscent drinking game, Drink, this is one of the songs in the decade that references striking matches. So there you go. Have a sip. Have a sip, everybody. Cheers. Cheers to all the reminisces and reminephews out there. And if you're a reminasty, you can have a sip too, I suppose.
But all the reminectarines, you.
Get out of here right now. What the hell's wrong with you?
Just kidding. We're all reminectarines at the end of the day. But what the hell does that mean?
I don't know. I was like, is that deep somehow? And I was like, nah, I'm not going to try to break my brain figuring that one out.
It's like the AI writes a JD outro or whatever.
And then the friends we make at the end of the day are the friends that are ours at the end of the day.
All right, friends, you know what time it is. I'm here to shout out our Council of Elders. These are our top tier Patreon supporters. In this group, we have Andre Prevost, Johnny Leftwich, Jason Carey, Anonymous, Chris Lukey, Nathan Eshelman, Drew Edwards, and Carrie Sanchez. Thank you all so much for supporting the show. Thank you to the many, many of you that are supporting the show on Patreon now. It really, really means the world to us. If you would like to check out the 3 tiers that we offer, the Emo Kid, the Emo Veteran, and the Emo Elder, you can head to patreon.com/reminiscent. In there, we share monthly video AMAs. I'm about to upload a fun vlog of my time in Erie. It's like an hour long, and behind the scenes content, sneak peeks of what we're working on, all kinds of stuff. Again, that is patreon.com/reminiscent. Thank you so much to everyone, and back to the episode. So Adam, when it came to this album, there were like a lot of hills that he chose to die on that never made sense to me, but I always appreciated. I don't know if the tenacity is the right word, but the chorus, he says, cross my heart and hope to, and he never finishes it. And the song starts with ellipses, ... slow dance on the inside. And his theory that he believed with all of his heart was that what Adam was alluding to was cross my heart and hope to slow dance on the inside. He's like, that's what he's saying. He's referring to the name of the song. I never believed it, but he was so passionate about that theory that I just really, to this day, still applaud him for making those connections wherever you can.
You say it was mentioned in our friend group. That was probably 3 calendar months worth of discussion over the course of 4 years. I can guarantee that was not just a throwaway comment. And I'm picturing how passionately the argument would have been made. I don't agree either, hearing it now, but I'm intrigued.
I just think it's so funny that like something like that, as like a 30-year-old, I don't have time to think about it that much. But when you're 16 and you literally have shit else to do, you're thinking about that for literally 3 months. Could it possibly be cross my heart and hope to slow dance on the inside?
But it's kind of like how Ben Gibbard and Jim Atkins, I think it did a pod, they were talking about like, if that's what it is to the fan, then that's exactly what it is. You know what I mean? To them, then of course that's what it is. Like, I think there's a certain portion of artists that just kind of let that be what it is for each individual person. And if that like, yeah. So I think there's part of it has to be inherently true if that's how it feels to Adam.
Sure.
Even, you know, not to get too hippy dippy, but who says he's wrong, basically? You know,
Yeah.
like I don't think he'd ever be in an interview be like, bro, what the hell are you talking? You know, like just shitting on a Deer fan. You know what I mean? Just like, oh, that is so far off. Like, I don't know. Maybe he would, maybe he wouldn't. But anyway.
Well, okay, yeah. Let's move on. I have another Adam story for my next pick, but I Am Fred Astaire is like a sneaky fucking good song as well. First of all, the drum beat. Are
you picking it?
Yes, I think it might have been an honorable mention on the drum draft because it's so sick and it's so weird and it doesn't really quite let you figure out what's going on until that first like faux chorus hits. And again, it's super short and they go back into a second verse. And we talk a lot about like All the Small Things was track 8. And Blink knew how fucking good Enema of the State would be that they buried the lead single at track 8 because they know you're going to get to it.
It's also a record that's only half an hour long, so.
True. But like you hear a lot about like shut up and get to the chorus. You have like 30 seconds to be at the hook. But Taking Back Sunday took
well, in the Spotify era, yeah.
Taking Back Sunday took a full 75 seconds to get to the main chorus. They tricked you through a little faux chorus, goes into the second verse. And the Adam story is that I think we all had burned versions of burned CDs that like someone burned for our older siblings. And in the second verse, there was a skip. It didn't skip it like there was a quarter second of silence and it threw everything off by a quarter of a second. And it was always there. And I still hear it to this day, even when I'm not listening to that version. And Adam swore that it was like that on the record. And I just think like, you know, at 2005, you are burning copies of burned copies of burned copies of burned copies. And like the quality is just degraded so badly by that point. But there was a weird skip on the second verse.
It's weird. It obviously like we're not a pod that goes into these sorts of topics, but like it feels like perhaps the misinformation that came before the internet was a touch more innocent based on that one anecdote than the misinformation that exists now. And I'm sure there are thousands of examples that would disprove that, but just to trying to be a little bit tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
No, I swear there's a skip on the real record. It's like, no way, there's no way to prove it. How will we know? You know? But
yeah.
anyway.
I mean, one of the rumors I heard was, you know, Wake Me Up Inside by Evanescence was featuring Linkin Park and she was married to one of the Linkin Park guys or something. I'm like, nothing about that is true. Linkin Park's not even on the song. Anyways. So yeah, it was my email address in college. So they sent us like this whole packet of information and things that we were going to have to do on the day before school started to like get ready. And one of them was establishing your email address. And I didn't see the note that was like, don't do this yet. We're just letting you know when the time comes, here's the link. But I clicked on the link and I just wrote, I am Fred Astaire at what would have been at ai.aiw.edu or whatever. And it honestly f***ed everything up for my first day because like it took hours to figure out why I couldn't make an email address, and it's because I already made one. So when I went to the registrar, they like asked for my name and my like student ID, and they're like, did you already make an email address? I was like, I don't think so. And she's like, does the phrase I am Fred Astaire mean anything to you? And they couldn't change it. So like every single student had like last name, first name at aii.edu. And I had I am Fred Astaire at aii.edu. And I just thought it was so funny. But the song kills. It's on that back half, and it's the slow burn where it kind of eases you into the song, and you don't really like expect it to go as hard as it does, and then it goes even harder than you could have imagined. I mean, it's just the beauty of this album itself, but it's filled with resentment, like older and wiser.
We get it.
Yeah. I haven't been, oh my God, dude. I gotta stop or else I'll just be like, I love it. But
well, you'll pick another 2 from that album when it's your turn again.
Okay.
Which is fine. There's literally nothing wrong with that. Okay, 2 for me. Let's get into it here. And how about we stop messing around? How about that, Tom?
How about it?
No, we haven't been messing around, ladies and gents, but it's time for this. And I might just be picking it for the take. Lord, forgive me if that's the case. But what's it feel like to be a ghost? Is my next pick.
Dude.
Because I am going to lay a take down, and the take is thus. It's the best riff in their catalog.
Yeah, you're right. One of the best album openers really of all time. We drafted that pretty early.
It feels weird not to pick Make Damn Sure before that, off of that album. But I mean, it's going to be a long afternoon, evening. It's looking like shaping up to be. I'm just going to pick that, lay that take down, say that I really enjoy it for the reasons that are obvious. Yeah. We picked it in the riff draft, everything like that. You know, I think we're well on the record for why we like that song. So I'm just going to pick it, look for my next pick, and let you make a comment if you have one on it. But, you know, we can keep it moving here. We don't have to, we don't have to elaborate too heavily if we don't need to.
Yeah, it was going to be my next pick. It's so good. I feel like they figured out like whatever their formula is for where I want to be, and they just replicated it perfectly to open Louder Now with, and it just fucking works at every angle. Such a fun riff. It's one of my favorite riffs to play on guitar. The chorus part is so fun, how it reincorporates elements of the riff and the back and forth vocals. It's just it could be another song that you show the aliens to be what is Taking Back Sunday.
Oh, interesting. I disagree for the Boil the Band Down game, but it is very good. Okay, the 3 songs that I would take seriously are Timberwolves, Cute Without the E, and Make Damn Sure as like the Boil the Band Down options. And I think it's got to be Timberwolves, even though...
wow.
Well, you know.
All right.
We'll see. Anyway, it's an interesting game. No one's ever right because it's just a dumb game. Because, of course, you shouldn't ever try to do that. But how about this? How about it? It's free real estate. Give me number 5 with a bullet.
God, that was going to be my next one. Those are literally my next 2 picks.
This is the period of time where you and I, again, we shared an actual... I accidentally plugged my thing into your computer, one of my first iPods, and I didn't know which buttons to press, and I just transferred it somehow. I don't really know I don't know if anyone else had that happen to them, but I lost mine and I got yours, and that was just how it was for a minute.
Yeah.
So, we are in step on this, unsurprisingly, in my eyes. Score 1 in the column for 2000s emo, influencing the movies I'd later get into in college. Eventually really coming to enjoy High Fidelity despite the flaws of the protagonist, which I suppose would be the point of that particular story, but moving on. Honestly, like realizing what sadness is record in a lot of ways. I don't want to brush over that point either. Like we talk about the upsides being a, hey, let's try to figure this out album for us years later. But I think I talked about like feeling 13, then feeling 16 and still feeling 16 now, honestly. But that jump, it was just kind of like, you know, we're going to die like this, you know, miserable. It's just kind of like, yeah, you know, it's interesting that you say that, Adam Lazzara, because, you know, like, this sucks. It was interesting to hear people be, just say, I'm not having a great time. I think that's probably why we're doing this show now, why we liked the music we talk about every week. I don't know, but I don't remember hearing people. This record for me, Where You Want to Be, at least, was kind of not a roadmap, but just kind of like, okay, this is the first time I'm hearing people kind of say it.
Yeah.
I know he's talking about a lot of relationships. Oh, well, my next point here is this is all, just get dressed, don't do this. Put that in the column for like, I very much can't relate to this song for as much as I feel like I'm related to this song category. Like, I did not live with a woman at the time, for example, other than my mom. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, man, this album speaks to me, but literally all the themes had nothing to do with my day-to-day lifestyle at all. But no, again, misinterpreting the "we're gonna die like this" miserable thing as just a sadness play when really it was a relationship song. Just picking and choosing how it relates to you and believing everyone's writing the songs for you personally, I think is something everybody does to a certain degree. But yeah, number 5 with a bullet. I think carries a lot of weight for me personally, so I'm going to pick it.
Can I interject with something interesting here? So
Why not?
I'm on the Where You Want to Be Wikipedia page, and it turns out most reviewers fucking hated this album, but there is, in the legacy portion, in 2005, JJ Coxan of the Aquarian Weekly wrote that Where You Want to Be, get this, might perhaps go down in pop culture history as the record that broke the emo scene commercially. That's a big statement, man. Like, this
what
is
do you mean commercially?
Like, it's what put emo into like the universe as a whole. Like, the kids that weren't emo in our high school fucking knew these songs, and they're saying that like before, like,
what year did it come out?
2004. And I think what they're saying is that if this album didn't happen,
Fueled by Ramen wouldn't be a successful company.
Well, not
No, I'm just kidding.
let me try to build this bridge. Welcome to the Black Parade would not have been a success.
That was 06?
Because
there's the Fever Cork Tree 05 stuff, and then there's like Black Parade AFI stuff that happened in 06. A sneaky number of people liked it. Like, that girl in my homeroom who Stephanie, she'd be like, "It's your birthday," on people's birthday. She didn't talk like that all the time. She just could do a funny voice, and it killed me and Tom. It was like the most entertaining anyone's ever been. I think live. I was like, you should take this shit on the road. This is great. But I remember people like her just kind of knowing about this and liking it and having the CD on them. I'm like, oh, okay, interesting. But yeah, no, it's an interesting point. Like, was it a buffer that let albums like Cork Tree just go hella mega, you know?
All right, let's move on. The episode should be done by now, and we're just doing the 4th round, and we almost went 10
We can just do 5.
No,
we can just do 5.
We'll go 7. We'll go 7. Give me Cute Without the E. It's just...
Yeah, good pick. I'm surprised it lasted this long.
It's just amazing. I mean, so I always really loved the song, and I got in trouble with my mom for putting a picture on... Was it MySpace with like a finger gun to my head and a face that was like, "Well, this is it," with the caption, "Will you tell all your friends you've got your gun to my head?" I always loved the song, but I don't think I fell as hard in love with it until my band covered it in like 2015. And we always did one cover song every set. We did Best of Me for a long time. But then we did Cute Without the E, and people just lost their fucking heads, man. Like, and again, people in the crowd that did not necessarily look like they would go hard for this song did. And it was so fun. We got to like make it our own a little bit. And I mean, I Stay Wrecked, which is one of the best t-shirts we ever made. Just absolutely hilarious to me.
Yeah. Would you rather have a t-shirt, or which use of the word wrecked do you prefer? Quick game. Motion City saying, "I am wrecked, I am whatever," or it's like, "I stay wrecked and helpless for this."
I stay wrecked.
What? Yeah, okay, fair enough.
I don't know. To me, this might be the song to show the aliens, now that I think about it. It's got like really good back and forth vocals. Just incredible.
Is this the With My One Last Gasping Breath?
No, that's You're So Last Summer.
Oh, we haven't picked that yet, have we?
Maybe we'll get to it.
Why do we even try to do these things, Tom? We just end up disappointing ourselves.
Yeah, we're never going to get it right. But it's time to finally make it right. Give me MakeDamnSure.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Best music video of all time.
A
direct quote from Pat Holmes himself.
Blow it out your ass.
In a freezer with stock footage.
Yeah.
It's just
the only emo video directed by Ken Burns. Which doesn't make a ton of sense. Just like, yeah, right. Vaguely PBS joke that is a stretch in a big way. But I don't love the video. If you listen to the show, you know this. But it's a great song, obviously. He sets it up so well live with his favorite note, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Gonna make damn sure that you, it's just a good one. It's kind of like the hits feel like, okay, let's get to the weird ones. But yeah, I don't know. You can't gush enough. Obviously, this song is very important to both of us.
Yeah, I mean, it had really simple drums, but they were hitting all the right hits at all the right times.
I can't believe this late you were able to pick up Q Without the E and Make Damn Sure like I know we f***ed this up somehow, but those are two really strong picks. You just picked their two.
Yeah.
What's interesting is Make Damn Sure and Q Without the E on Spotify both have over 100 million listens each. Guess how much the third most listened to song by them on Spotify has?
45?
Only 37. What's that?
Oh my, I guess 30, 45
Yeah, you said
million.
35. It is 37 million for the number 3 song. So I don't know. There's got to be like a Emo Forever 2000s rock hits playlists that are keeping those two alive in a big way. But it was kind of depressing. I was like, oh God. Yeah, jarring. I
thought the rhythm of the vocals on this song were very interesting. It had this like, I don't know. I know it's so far from being waltzy, and I understand that. Put the pitchforks away, but there's something about it that has like the staccato-ness of that gives me this like, I don't know, maybe it's like kind of this like Victorian feeling. And then the chorus is just so Take It Back Sunday. I saw one of the funniest memes ever the other day that would not be worth explaining. I'll put it in the show notes, but it was about this song. It just fucking threw me for like a long time. But I don't know. It's one of their best. It's probably, the one that they're most well known for, I would imagine, in terms of like commercial success. Not a great video, but who cares? Killer song. Fun riff too.
I think the reason I am so against Louder Now is because, and I'm realizing this kind of now as we record, I think I wanted people to be talking about Where You Want to Be as much as people seem to be talking about Louder Now when it came out. I'm like, Louder Now's fucking fine, but like everyone needs to be.
Oh no, it's great.
They're both great, but I just feel like, and I just feel this way, but I feel like people talked about it so fucking much. It was like, Louder Now. It's like, how about Where You Want to Be? Show some fucking respect. God damn. I don't know. I just feel like no one said shit. They just quietly had it in their cars and were crying or whatever, which is like, fine. That's probably the way you should be taking in that music. But everyone's just like, oh my God, Louder Now is so good. I'm like, Louder Now is fine. It's fine. But I don't know. I think I was just like jealous on behalf of Where You Want to Be. I don't know.
All right. Well, you've got your 5 and 6 picks.
Yeah. Give me Sink Into Me off of New Again, released in 2009.
Oh my God.
First of all, this song fucking rips.
It was my next pick.
It's so good. And it's like, it's him doing what he does best, right? I keep my grammar well rehearsed. Just gloating about speaking and writing better than other people that he's rivals with or whatever. Like reminding you of some of the napkin stuff. I'll tell all your friends, et cetera, et cetera. It's just like a short, kind of more, maybe not palatable, but kind of, it's kind of a sing-along, right? Like a hey. But yeah, it's very enjoyable. I like it, and I'm going to pick it. It's fun, and not off the 3 albums that we were going to focus on quite a bit today. And let me go ahead and let's just stop messing around.
Well, let me say something about that song first.
Yeah,
because
please do.
I was going to pick it. It's so amazingly fucking good. I remember people not really being into it. The first time I ever heard it, I was home for some kind of holiday break from DC. I was driving my mom's car. I was driving from Green Garden, I think, turning left onto 38th. Or no, I would have been right in front of that shitty diner we used to get coffee from all the time. Like right by my house, and being like, damn, I know this voice, but I cannot quite put my finger on it. And it was when Adam said, and hang on every word you speak. spoke. I was like, oh my God, this is Take It Back Sunday. Like, I didn't know they even came out with a new album because I feel like, the Wonder Years came out in 2010. And to me, it brought with it this whole different generation of artists that I then focused my attention to. So I missed that Take It Back Sunday put out a new album. And I was so stoked to hear this song.
Yeah, New Again by Take It Back Sunday and Brand New Eyes by Paramore. There's like a year that we just like went to college and missed. All the emo bands we loved just continued to live their lives. And then we just like checked out for a bit. And it's not fair to them. But I think we're like fully aware of that now from doing the show.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. So I found out about the song years later and then like listened to the album a ton. It's so good. Like they deserve so many more listens from me than they ever got and probably ever will get. But even late career Take It Back Sunday is very, very good.
All right, how about this? What pick is this for me?
6.
6? Jesus. Okay. I was going to pick something, but I'll leave one for you to pick that I think you'll pick. Give me Bike Scene. Slept On. Track 2 off Tell All Your Friends. Bike Scene. You've got mirror. It's just like, man, good payoffs. This band knows how to like make it worth your while sticking around for the end of the song. You've got me right where you want me. Let's never talk. It's just fucking amazing. I love it so much. Like, you know how I Do gets a lot of like, obviously listens from some people probably because it's track 1, but like, you go into Bike Scene and it's just like, oh no, I'm having a great time. Like, I'm not mad about any of this. The track 2, I'm in it. Do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what I'll pick for my 6. With a 7th in mind that I don't think you'll take, but I wanted to leave you some meat on the bone of what I think you'll pick.
Man, I might close them out both a little bit slower. Give me for number 6, My Blue Heaven. I love this song.
Oh my God.
So when we were in AP World History.
Yeah, sure. Honestly, the back half of that album is really good too. I'm just like remembering the song. I'm like, yeah, no, it's a good pick. It's a good pick.
I think it might have been the first time. Again, I'm like pretty new to guitar. It might have been the first time I ever heard of a natural harmonic. And also like in AP World History, we had a substitute for the whole first quarter because our teacher was doing like counterintelligence in Iraq or something way more important than teaching a bunch of snotty 14-year-olds, or 16 at that age. And Mr. Steele was our substitute for 3 months. And the guy...
As the story went, or I don't want to steal your thunder. Were you about to tell the story?
Go for it. I was, but go for it.
Well, as the story went, if you turn the lights off, he was an older gentleman. He would rest his eyes and go to sleep. And it was fucking true. That's how it happened. And after a while, you felt bad about it. So, it stopped being cool to a certain degree. You're like, no, it's not going to amuse you to find it's true. He's a nice guy. Keep him up. Keep him going. He's just keeping tabs on the class. But it was remarkable. It was truly unlike anything I'd ever seen in my life.
I remember it might have been like Mark Dolak or something for the first 2 weeks when we were testing it out. I'd be like, oh, Mr. Steele, I've got like a little bit of a headache and like the lights are kind of bothering me. Can we like turn the lights off maybe? And like, sure enough, turn it off. He'd fall asleep. And then like the next class, someone else, oh, Mr. Steele, like, just like always coming up with a reason to turn the lights off. Anyways.
It was amazing.
One of the best Mr. Steele stories was, we kind of asked him how his weekend was, and he was like, oh, and he had this real like goofy voice, and his posture was all kind of like wonky, just like the most lovable dude ever. And he was like, oh, I spent most of Saturday in a ditch. And we were like, what?
I think the news covered it, right? Like he survived some terrible fall down a cliff or something.
So he was like clearing up some brush at the edge of his property, and he fell down this cliff. And again, the dude had a hard time walking as it was. And we were like, oh my God, what did you do? did you like have a phone on you? And he's like, yeah, I had my phone on me, but I knew my wife was taking a nap and I didn't want to wake her up. So I just waited until she realized I was missing and called me.
Yeah. It's, when you're a teen and you're exposed to someone with these types of quirks, your instinct is to go for blood. But I think quickly, he was so endearing as a man, just a lovely man.
Incredible.
That like you wanted to just talk to him, be like, what's your life, man? Like, just talk to me. Just say words and we'll all just sit. And ended up being a really good substitute in that sense. Like, we were just like, hey, Mr. Steele, how's it going, bud? But yeah, no, originally it's just like, wait, is the light thing true? I mean, we got to test it. Right? But yeah, I remember the surviving the vicious fall part. It was just like, that dude is indestructible.
Yeah, and he was just there at school on Monday to talk about it.
Yeah.
But anyways, the whole point of bringing him up is he was kind of walking through the class like we were doing work, and we were allowed to wear headphones when we were doing our writing or whatever. And he came over and he saw My Blue Heaven on my blue 4 gig iPod Mini. And he was like, "Oh, My Blue Heaven, is that what was it? It was a song from like the 1920s or something." And he's like, "Oh, is that the song from whatever?" And I was like, "Absolutely not, but let's talk about it." Like, tell me everything you know about the song from the 20s so I can not do work. Yeah, written by Walter Donaldson, used in Ziegfeld Follies in 1927. It was not that song. I really love this song. It has a really weird guitar melody for the chorus. And it was the first time I ever heard of like a natural harmonic on a guitar. And I remember we had like a study hall and Adam and I would bring in our acoustics and we would like play in the hallway near the band room. And I remember like playing the song with him and he like knew all the lead guitar parts. And it was probably the first time on guitar I played a song with someone else that like seemed to like make a little bit of sense. And it was just like a really special moment, like as like a budding musician to play that song with the guy who introduced me to the band. Just a lot of fun. I love the lyrics because when we talk about lyricists that are like artistic, the reason I think of Taking Back Sunday is because of this song. Like the lyrics in the chorus, it's all too familiar, only it happens all the time. All the cards begin to stack up, twisted heartache into fine little pieces that avoid an awful crime, but it's you I can't deny. It's like he's like painting this like abstract mosaic where it's like this could literally mean anything to anyone. I have no idea what he's talking about, but I feel it deep inside my soul, and that's like one of the reasons I go to Take It Back Sunday.
There's kind of a driving emotional weight with Louder Now, which I think is one of the reasons that, I don't know, like you got to be in a very specific place to do the back half of that one, because My Blue Heaven especially just da-na-na, da-na, you're just like it's like beating you down or something. Like somebody made a joke late Eminem career release. Somebody's just like, man, what is that dude still mad about? He's like a multi-millionaire. And, it was just a passing comment. I'm not going to, dig into that. Yeah. But you could say the same about Taking My Sunday for like the third album in a row. It's like, man, what are they still so fucking angsty about? Like they have not put the foot up. If anything, they've put the foot further on the gas. No, I don't know. Either way, more gas, right? But it's kind of like My Blue Heaven, and they're like that late into that album, and they're still like very dragging you the through it, which is like fine by me, but also like, I don't know, not that I want them to change or anything, but yeah, I remember it was just like My Blue Heaven particularly was just like, oh, I need a minute.
We swing and we sway as this tiny voice in my head starts to sing, "You're safe, child, you are safe." What? Okay, I'm going to close it out with obviously You're So Last Summer. I mean,
wow. This you did a better job today.
This should have been the first pick. I don't know. It's again, being in 8th grade, I was new to the school that year, and it was the only year that I went to that school. And I feel like I went through all of like Catholic school up to 7th grade, wanting so badly to feel like I fit in with the people that I was in. And they all just like loved sports, and I just didn't really give a shit. So like we never really connected. I wasn't going to go over to that dude's house and watch Miami Hurricane games on the weekend. I just didn't fucking want to. I wanted to play Twisted Metal 3. Anyways, so I go to 8th grade, and these kids are just like, I felt like they were all, other versions of me from parallel universes. And we all had so much fun. Just like talking about music, and this kid introduced me to Your So last summer and taught me how to play it on guitar. And man, just like, I remember feeling so like honored that this person, I don't know, like someone who recommends music to me is, I feel even to this day, like it's so special, like, because my favorite songs mean so much to me that I'm like, would feel a little bit embarrassed to like recommend it to someone and then find out that they didn't like it. So to me, a song recommendation means like a lot. And someone like trusted me with one of their like favorite songs at the moment. And I loved it. And I felt like we were just like bonded because of that. And obviously, I mean, you get into the lyrics, Jesus Christ, you could slit my throat, and with my one last gasping breath, I'd apologize for bleeding on your shirt. That is the aim away message lyric of all aim away message lyrics. It is the epitome of emo, in my opinion. Just like,
this might be the Boil the Band Down song. Now that I think about it, I don't know, man.
It might be Boil the Genre Down.
Yeah,
song.
Boil the Decade Down, because it's a play on, or I don't know what it's a play on, but it makes you think of some of the horror movies that came out at that time. It made you think of some of them, maybe Clueless a little bit, maybe not, I don't know. But there was kind of like this, again, elegant goth attitude of just kind of like, I don't know. There's something, everything about the way the title of the song is phrased even, you know. Yeah, terrific pick. You managed to pick the three best picks in your last three or four picks there, which speaks to the insanity of, I guess, ourselves. But yeah, I'll just hop in and put a cap on it with Great Romances here. I don't know what it is about the song that I love so much. I think it might be the video that I love more than the song, but the clean guitar at the beginning. No one had looked cooler to me than they do in this video. The mic swinging, the confidence, the pants that were too short, Adam with the short hair, the shots of John doing the backup vocals in the background. Everything about it was just pitch perfect. It's a great back and forth. Obviously, one of my first off the board honorable mentions, we'll talk about Fred a little bit, but the back and forth between them, this is them doing it really fucking well. I'm not one for complaining, I guess, is a bold statement though, for a band that goes on to say all the things they did on Tell All Your Friends. But it still hits. And I don't know, it's just a specific, very, 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 very specific summer time and place for me song. So Never Stays This Cold where I come from, and you know, I'm not one for complaining. And of course my ears were like, oh, he's talking about a place that's cold. We live in Erie. This song's for me. But he was talking about growing up in a place that's warm. So yeah, the mental gymnastics are well documented on this show. Can I give you my first off the board?
What do you mean?
The one, like the first honorable mention.
Oh, yeah.
Decade Under the Influence.
Yeah, dude.
Fred's polish on the record. Like, I don't know which version of the band I like more. I don't think you have to pick. But I just wanted to note his scream at the end. I got it bad. I got it bad. It's so good. It's so fucking good. Yeah. Fred's polish, I mean, just, they were different and better. I love Tell All Your Friends. So I think like Tom and I talk about on the show a lot, like he's more of a polished late record effort guy. I definitely am very loyal to the first records of bands that we like. That's just kind of the dynamic of the show you're listening to, obviously. But obviously, there's something special that happened on Where You Want to Be. And I guess this ended up being a Where You Want to Be episode in disguise. But I don't know. It's just, he came in and was just like, hey, let's make it better in every conceivable way. And every song is going to be amazing and define a very specific time period for you. It's the unthinkable, right? Like, it's like Rob Lowe and Ben White's the name of the character, but I can't think of Adam Scott's name off the top of my head. There it goes. But it's kind of like against all odds, two people just joining something and making it explode into betterness. Usually it wouldn't work that well. Fred coming in and making Where You Want to Be his first effort with Taking Back Sunday is just so hard to even like acknowledge his reality because of how good it was. And I got it bad.
So Fred Mascherino does a live stream every Sunday on the Color Fred's YouTube page. I got to hang out a bit last week, and he performed A Decade Under the Influence. And it was funny because he sang the whole song, you know, both parts as much as he could. And he sang the last I Got It Bad. And I was kind of like, oh, he didn't scream it. And then he like turned away from the mic and he did the scream.
Oh my God.
And it was so identical to the record. Like what, 17 years later?
Amazing.
I mean, it was flawless. The dude is a god.
Yeah.
I love him.
I mean, we talk about how you and I view screaming in this genre, in this decade. We view it differently, obviously. You are more well-versed than I am. There's something about not going into the screamy scream voice, but just like as if you're delivering a line in a movie, screaming a word. You know what I mean? You're not doing like the crab course shit or whatever, which is not, I'm not shit talking, whatever. We both like certain bands that do it, Alexis on Fire, whatever. But there's something to me that's so gnarly about him just being so in fucking despair that he doesn't do it for like a subgenre. It's just like, he screams the word bad as loud as fuck. It's just, there's nothing like metally about it. He's just like, it's like the angst-o-meter is just broken. It just, just like, oh, it's so good. It's so good. And it should have gotten picked. Anyway.
Yeah. Speaking of Fred Mascherino, give me New American Classic. Oh my
that one
God.
was never my favorite. It just wasn't. I can't explain it. What can I say? I just, it wasn't, I wasn't going to pick it today. That's for sure. But obviously people are it's near and dear to many.
You know what's funny? I wrote a note here that says, I remember someone throwing shade at the song, and like, to paraphrase them, they said, it's so obvious that Fred is flexing to try to just prove that he belongs in this band. And like, by doing what? Making an incredible fucking song with great guitar? Like, are you mad that he pulled it off? Get the out of here. I'm wondering if it was you that said that. It might have been. Like, I remember listening to this in my computer room on the east side of Erie before we even moved into the new place, which would have been 2005, and just like sobbing over this song about something I'd never experienced before. And just the strings come in. I love the guitar. It's something that at one point I knew how to play, and I was like obsessed with playing this song. I love it. It's like, it is a little weird, I guess, in the album, but like everything that happens after this song is just a different fucking vibe. So I feel like it at least fits as like a thematic element in this album.
Yeah, I don't really have a ton of other honorable mentions. Can I just mention two off of Louder Now real quick, though?
Sure.
2020 Surgery, I think, is pretty underrated.
Sure.
And Liar, I guess. Now we're just they're all good. I mean, this is just pull up the band on your library and just hit shuffle, and you're going to be in good shape. But that's really all I had for honorable mentions. I'll let you finish it out. But 2020 Surgery is like, people aren't wrong. Louder Now is great. I just really like Tell All Your Friends as well. But it's not by a lot. I think when we say these things, it's not like me picking one and not the other. We're picking all three, and we're just slightly adjusting the like rank in our mind.
Right. I really like Spin off of Louder Now. It's a really fun guitar lead line that I, to this day, still try to play and get right. And I have the later albums to finish out the honorable mentions, because I really fucking love them. Call Me in the Morning off of 2011 Self-Titled is super good. Best Places to Be a Mom, again, off of 2011 Self-Titled. And then Better Homes and Gardens off of 2014's Happiness Is. I remember seeing them, Megan and I drove to Baltimore to see them play some weird outdoor bar in like it must have been late 2015. And I didn't really know what I was expecting. Again, we saw them in 2007. And I guess in my head, I was like, okay, Tom, they're a little bit older. Don't get like sad if they're like a little winded. Maybe he's not quite hitting the high notes. And I swear to God, dude, Adam sounded perfect. Like, they put on a hell of a fucking show. Probably better than they even did in 2007.
Well,
they
he was
were
climbing on rafters and shit for years.
Yeah. But dude, I mean, they were still slaying it.
What's interesting is they talk about that self-titled record when you listen to interviews with them. Like, their heart hurts that it isn't as good as that, those first records will ever be almost. They're like, we are just older now, and we put a lot of effort into just making a rock record.
Dude, self-titled is super good.
Well, that's how they feel.
Good.
They're like, people are like, what's your favorite songs? And they were expecting them, the interview was kind of, playing, they were hoping they would play along and pick you without the Ian stuff, but they all just kept picking songs off of the self-titled. And they're like, we really wish people liked it more, because like, whenever we play these live, it's fucking radio silence, and then we'll play the first riff to You So Last Summer, and everyone goes fucking nuts, obviously. But so like they put all. It seems like that was like a weird emotional experience for them, with Nolan back in the crew, obviously putting so much effort. I wonder if they'll ever have Fred back to perform with them, or how that even would work. I don't think anyone's mad at each other.
Yeah, he just went off to do The Color Fred. I remember when we were at 2008 Warped Tour, maybe. I remember Adam running off to see The Color Fred because he just, idolized Fred Mascherino. I specifically remember.
Yeah, I learned about that band's name because of him. He's like, "Do you hear about The Color Fred?" I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, Fred Mascherino, new band." Like, we're just getting a ton of emo news updates from Adam daily. He was just tuned in, man. Yeah, he was. We say this a lot, but he was the technician for our band, just like a really good lick guy. I don't know if riff and lick, but mostly licks, a little bit of riffs. But no, he was just really technically proficient at guitar. And he really looked up to that guy. And I think he wanted to be that guy for our particular
totally.
act.
Well,
we should probably wrap this shit up.
Long enough.
Yeah. I think you wanted us to talk about where you want to be, and that is us talking about where you want to be. And I guess we could still do an album episode at some point. It's going to be a lot of similar anecdotes, but that one felt like it was waiting to come out a little bit, even if it wasn't as organized as maybe we'd hoped heading in.
Well, hit us up on Twitter at _reminiscentfm. Of course, let us know the songs that would have made your playlist. You can either play like Adrian does, where they pick stuff we didn't pick, which seems, I don't know. That's crazy.
We didn't leave a lot, but
I know.
Challenge thyself.
Or let us know. And also which album is their second best. Hit us up. But we're gonna head to the Patreon post show. I'm gonna read this fan fiction off of YouTube.
Yes. Real quick, song of the week: "Bed of Nails" by No Pressure.
Ooh. Okay. I actually had a song of the week.
Which is interesting. Shit. I didn't even know No Pressure was the Story So Far dude.
Yeah.
Until it became so obvious. I was like, of course it's that guy.
I have been falling asleep listening to The Starting Line, Say It Like You Mean It, their 2002 release, for quite a few days now. I'm going to say you should listen to A Good Night's Sleep by The Starting Line.
Whoa,
almost 20
throwback.
Years old at this point.
Yeah.
But this is one of my top, I think it's probably one of my top 10 albums. I remember that every time, just like Even If It Kills Me, just so influential to my music. Songwriting and listening. Love it. All right, man. Well, I love you.
Love you too.
And love you all. Thanks for listening. And we'll head to the post show. Bye. In the edit, I think I realized that Pat never even picked a seventh song. I could be wrong, but we were just way too excited to talk about the band. Really grateful that you all give us the space to do so. Please hit us up on Twitter at _reminiscentfm. It is now your turn to let us know what songs would be in your Taking Back Sunday mixtape draft. We really look forward to hearing from you all there. It's the best part of this show, hearing from everyone else. We really, really appreciate it. Again, that is at _reminiscentfm on Twitter. We love you all so much. See you next week. Bye, everyone.